So, how do you become board ready? Ready to serve in the boardrooms, whether that be on advisory boards or as a non-executive director in various private companies right through to higher profile organizations. Your first step is to really become extremely knowledgeable, really understand the responsibilities, the duties of a board director. And even if you're thinking of serving as an advisory board member, it's very important just to understand what the legal responsibilities are for non-executive directors. I find a lot of people come across my desk and they aspire to serve in boardrooms, but they haven't done the fundamental work. They don't understand the fundamentals. They don't understand when I ask key questions, what are their duties, what are their responsibilities. They haven't done a lot of formal education at this point. Maybe they're relying on the fact that they've done a law degree 20 plus years ago or an accounting degree. You know, the reality is that this whole landscape has shifted quite a lot in recent years, and there's a very high burden on board directors to be very, very much across their brief. So it's really critical, first and foremost, that you become knowledgeable. You understand the responsibilities, and there's a number of ways you can do this. You can look at the ASX websites, the AICD websites. There are a lot of governance information available freely to individuals who want to become briefed. And of course, as you go forward, you may embark on doing some form of formal governance training to really arm yourself with the correct knowledge and to give you the confidence to step into the boardroom. So first and foremost, you must become knowledgeable. Secondly, you have to be really realistic about what it is you're bringing to the table. How are you going to contribute in a boardroom setting? And that's going to enable you to really zero in on what is your unique value proposition, and you're going to be able to really calibrate that to your personal brand and how that's all going to come together, whether that be in the form of a board resume, some form of getting introduced to the right people at the right time. So you're going to have a really honest look at your skills, what you're bringing to the table, your experience, where have you contributed to boards in the past, how have you contributed to board decision making, what are your unique skills and qualifications. Now, we have a lot of people who are what I call sort of specialists. They have a specialist skill. They might be a cyber security expert, for example. But the reality is, if you're going to do board work, you can't just rely on that specialty. You have to have a general understanding of finance, operations, risk, business strategy to even get in the room for a meaningful discussion about board appointments. So you have to brush up on the areas where maybe you're not that strong. So for example, if you are a cyber expert but you're not so strong on the finances, to become board ready, you've really got to get up on the other sides of the equation. So you have to build up your skills, your knowledge in those other areas. That might mean brushing up and doing a finance course, or doing a human resources course, or having expertise in other areas to where you currently operate. So again, this is back to the reality check, really being honest with yourself. Where are the gaps? And then I'd highly recommend that you go and speak to your peers and colleagues, your bosses, your mentors, people who can be honest with you and who can tell you, A, if you're board ready, or B, if you are lacking in certain areas, where are you lacking? You might lack some of that perspective, if you like, on where some of the potential gaps are and where you need to really put some emphasis and focus in the year ahead. So step one, get knowledgeable. Step two, really be honest with yourself, do a complete audit, understand where the skills and the expertise lies, but also where the gaps lie, and how are you going to go about addressing that. And then finally, really being clear on what would be the correct first steps. So before you rush off and go to market and try and test a few things out, you've got to have a very clear board search strategy, and you have to be clear on what are the correct stepping stone board seats. Nobody starts in the majors. No one starts in a high profile $60,000 a year board seat. Everyone starts very modestly, but you need to be clear about what are the correct first board seats seats for you that would make the most sense, and that might be a not-for-profit, an early-stage private company, it might be an industry board, it might even just be serving on a steering committee within your own organisation. So you've got to get clear on what is the correct steps, and then you can work backwards from there and put the actual actions into place to make that a reality. So I think getting board ready is really going to be crucial, and I find that with executives who kind of skip this step, which includes quite a high level of self-reflection, the candidates who skip this step and just try and go to market and try and secure board roles are nowhere near as successful as the executives who've done the hard yards, done the prep work, done the study, done the forward planning, took their time, did this properly, took a real professional attitude towards securing board appointments in the market. There's a huge difference between the two approaches, and if you want to be successful, in my opinion, you have to get board ready. You have to really put the extra effort in to get the foundations right so you will have a successful board career.